Welcome to Folklore Studios. In this video, we will explore the mythical folklore creatures of Northern Europe and Scandinavia. Allow yourself to relax and drift into sleep as your imagination carries you through these stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more peaceful journeys into folklore from around the world. Leshy, guardian of the forest. Imagine, if you will, a forest, dense and ancient, where the sunlight filters softly through layers of green leaves, casting long, shifting patterns on the moss-covered floor. The air is cool, tinged with the scent of damp earth and pine, carrying a whisper of wind that moves gently through the treetops. Here, in this serene, untouched place, lives a being both elusive and protective, a creature from Slavic lore known as the Leshy. The Leshy is not simply a figment of imagination. It is the spirit of the forest itself, a guardian of trees, plants, and the animals that dwell within. Its presence is subtle yet profound, and if you slow your thoughts and open your awareness, you might sense it moving just beyond your peripheral vision. Picture a humanoid figure, tall and slightly elongated, with skin that mirrors the bark of the trees around it, rough, patterned, and earthy in tone. Moss and lichen grow upon its shoulders and along its arms, blending it seamlessly into the surroundings. Its hair cascades like dark, tangled vines, woven with small twigs, leaves, and the occasional flower. Eyes, deep and green, glow faintly, reflecting the dappled sunlight in a way that hints at centuries of wisdom. The Leshy's movement is slow, deliberate, and rhythmic, like the sway of branches in a gentle breeze. It does not hurry, and it does not fear the passage of time. If it steps through the forest, each footfall is soft, almost silent, barely disturbing the moss and undergrowth. Its long fingers reach out to touch the bark of a tree, caressing it as if speaking in a language older than human words. There is a meditation in the way the Leshy moves, each motion deliberate, each gesture mindful, as if it is part of the forest itself. Observing it, your own breath slows, sinking unconsciously to the steady rhythm of its presence. The Leshy's habitat is vast and ever-changing, encompassing dense groves, quiet clearings, babbling brooks, and shadowed paths. It knows every root, every stone, every curve of the terrain. Birds sense it and do not flee, instead singing softly in its presence. Small woodland animals emerge cautiously, peeking through ferns, sensing that the Leshy watches over them, ensuring the balance of the forest is preserved. Its gaze is not threatening, but protective. It monitors the forest's well-being, gently nudging creatures back towards safety if danger approaches. Behavioral patterns of the Leshy are consistent and predictable, yet ever subtle. It patrols familiar paths, circling clearings where the sun warms the ground and resting near ancient trees that have stood for centuries. Seasonal changes mark its routines. In spring, it watches as buds bloom and new life emerges. In summer, it glides silently along sun-dappled paths. In autumn, it ensures that leaves fall without chaos. In winter, it retreats into quiet groves, blending with snow and shadow, patient and vigilant. The leshy is a master of camouflage, appearing as nothing more than a clump of trees or a shadowed figure at first glance. Yet, if you focus, if you allow your attention to soften, the details reveal themselves. The moss that shifts with its breathing, the glimmer of green in its eyes, the faint outline of its form moving with the wind.
Sounds in the leshy's domain are subtle, enhancing rather than startling. A twig snaps softly beneath its foot, harmonizing with the rustle of leaves overhead. The gentle trickle of a nearby brook mingles with its quiet movements, creating a lullaby of the forest. Occasionally, you might hear a low, resonant hum, the leshy communicating with the very life around it, a vibration that carries through the roots, leaves, and soil. Smells are rich and grounding: wet earth, pine, decaying leaves, and the faint sweetness of wildflowers. Engaging your senses fully, you can imagine tracing each scent and sound, immersing yourself in the slow, deliberate world of the leshy. A brief story, whispered through the ages, tells of a traveler who lost his way in a vast, dark forest. Night fell, and the path disappeared beneath shadows and tangled roots. Fear began to rise, yet in the stillness, he noticed a faint green glow among the trees. Following it, he saw the leshy for the first time, tall, moss-covered, eyes like soft emeralds. Rather than fear, he felt a strange calm. The leshy moved beside him, guiding him silently. The path emerged, and he found himself at the forest's edge, safe and unharmed. He looked back, but the leshy had vanished, leaving only the gentle sway of branches, a soft hum, and the forest's quiet reassurance. This story repeats in hushed tones, reminding those who enter the woods that the leshy is both guardian and guide, never hurried, always present.
As you imagine the leshy, picture yourself walking slowly alongside it, inhaling the damp forest air, noticing the small details, the texture of the moss beneath your fingers, the patterns of light across the forest floor, the faint glimmer of green in the leshy's eyes. Let your thoughts drift like leaves in a stream, floating gently without effort. The leshy encourages patience and attentiveness, not anxiety or haste. Its presence is a meditation in motion, a living reminder that the forest endures, that life is cyclical, and that calm observation is a path to understanding.
Consider its hands, long and delicate, brushing over tree bark, moss, and ferns. The leshy moves slowly, each gesture purposeful, communicating without words. Imagine the subtle shift of leaves as it passes, the ripple of air, the faint musical whisper of its breath mingling with wind through the branches. Observe the patterns, how it pauses at a clearing, tilts its head to watch a small bird hop across a branch, then continues onward with the same gentle, deliberate rhythm.
Cultural significance of the leshy is rich. In Slavic mythology, the leshy is a protector of forests and all creatures within. It serves as a guardian against those who would harm the woods, yet it is also a trickster, sometimes leading unwary travelers off the path. But here, in your mind, the leshy is calm and safe. It represents the forest's patience, the quiet wisdom of nature, and the gentle rhythm of life that continues even as human concerns fade into the distance. As you continue to imagine the Leshy, picture yourself sitting in a mossy clearing. The Leshy stands nearby, its figure partially hidden by ferns, its eyes a soft emerald glow. You feel no fear, only calm curiosity. The forest around you breathes with life. Small animals rustle through leaves. The wind whispers in the canopy, and distant water flows in harmony. The Leshy moves again, brushing its fingers along a tree trunk, its motion slow and deliberate. You notice the texture of the bark, the smoothness of a moss-covered stone, the gentle sway of ferns with each step. Finally, allow the Leshy to fade gently into the forest, leaving only its presence in your mind, a feeling of calm, protection, and the steady rhythm of life. As your attention drifts back to your own breathing, let it slow and settle. The Leshy reminds you that stillness, observation, and patience bring a quiet strength, and that even unseen guardians watch over the natural world.
Tomte, or Nisse, the quiet guardian of the home.
Imagine a small farm nestled at the edge of a quiet Scandinavian forest. Snow rests gently on the roof beams, and the night air is still, crisp, and clean. A single lantern glows faintly in a window, casting warm amber light onto the snow below. Inside and around this humble place lives a presence that has watched over generations, a being not of fear or noise, but of patience, routine, and quiet care. This being is known as the Tomte, or Nisse, the household guardian spirit of Nordic folklore.
The Tomte is small in stature, rarely taller than a child, yet its presence carries a sense of age far beyond its size. Picture a figure with a long white beard that drapes softly over a woolen tunic, its texture thick and warm. Its clothing is simple and practical, muted grays, browns, and reds, woven from rough fabric meant to endure cold winters and long nights. A pointed cap, often red but dulled by time, rests atop its head, slightly askew, as if placed there centuries ago and never adjusted since. Its face is lined but kind, with eyes that gleam softly in low light, eyes that have observed countless seasons, harvests, and families come and go. These eyes do not judge harshly. Instead, they notice details: a loose fence post, an unlatched gate, a neglected animal. The Tomte notices what others overlook, and this quiet attentiveness is the core of its nature. The movement of a Tomte is deliberate and unhurried. It walks softly, feet barely pressing into snow or earth, leaving little trace of its passing. When it moves through a barn, the straw barely rustles. When it crosses a wooden floor at night, the sound is no more than a gentle creak, easily mistaken for the settling of old boards. Its gestures are small and economical, straightening a tool, brushing snow from a threshold, placing a forgotten object back where it belongs. The Tomte's home is not one specific room, but the entire property it guards. Barns, fields, stables, hearths, and fences all fall under its watchful care. It moves most freely at night or in the quiet hours of early morning, when the world is still and human activity has paused. In winter, it is most active, padding through snowdrifts, checking on animals, ensuring warmth and order remain intact. In summer, it rests more, observing from shaded corners and hidden spaces.
Its habits are rooted in routine. Each night follows a familiar pattern: a slow walk around the farmhouse, a pause by the barn doors, a careful inspection of tools and animals, a moment by the hearth. These routines repeat night after night, year after year, creating a rhythm that mirrors the steady heartbeat of the home itself. The tomte thrives on respect and consistency. Chaos unsettles it, while order soothes it. The sensory world around a tomte is gentle and grounding. The smell of hay, wood smoke, and earth fills the air. The sounds are soft, the slow breathing of animals, the wind brushing against wooden walls, the faint crackle of embers in a dying fire. When the tomte moves, there is a subtle shift in the atmosphere, a feeling of calm settling, as though things are quietly being set right. There is an old story, passed down through generations, about a farm that fell into disrepair. The family had grown careless, leaving tools scattered, animals unattended, and the hearth cold at night. The tomte watched silently at first, its eyes reflecting disappointment rather than anger. One winter evening, the family remembered an old custom and placed a small bowl of warm porridge with a pat of butter near the barn. That night, the tomte returned to its work. Fences were mended, animals grew calm, and the farm slowly regained its balance. The family never saw the tomte, but they felt its presence in the warmth of their home and the quiet order that returned. This story reflects the tomte's nature, not vengeful, but responsive. It does not demand worship, only acknowledgement and care. In return, it offers protection, stability, and quiet assistance. Its relationship with humans is based on mutual respect, built slowly over time through small, consistent actions. As you imagine the tomte now, picture it standing near the barn door, snowflakes drifting gently around it. Its breath forms small clouds in the cold air. It pauses, listening, ensuring all is well. Then it turns, walking slowly toward the farmhouse, lantern light reflecting faintly off the snow. Each step is measured, calm, and purposeful. Let your attention rest on the textures around it, the rough grain of wooden beams, the softness of wool, the crispness of snow underfoot. Notice how the tomte blends into the environment, never drawing attention to itself. It is a presence felt more than seen, a reassurance rather than a spectacle. Culturally, the tomte represents responsibility, stewardship, and the quiet dignity of daily labor. In Scandinavian folklore, it embodies the spirit of the home and land, reminding people that care and respect sustain harmony. The tomte is neither grand nor dramatic. Its power lies in consistency and patience. Imagine sitting quietly by the hearth as the tomte passes nearby. You feel no fear, only a sense of comfort, as if someone reliable has checked the locks and ensured the night will pass peacefully. The fire crackles softly, shadows dance on the walls,
and the tomte's presence lingers like a gentle assurance.
As the night deepens, the tomte completes its rounds. It pauses one last time, surveying the farm, then fades into the quiet spaces between walls and shadows. Nothing dramatic marks its departure, only the continued stillness of a well-tended home.
Allow your breathing to slow as you hold this image. Like the tomte, let your thoughts become simple and orderly. There is nothing you need to fix or rush. Everything is as it should be. The night is calm, the home is safe, and rest comes naturally.
Troll, the ancient one of stone and mountain.
Imagine a mountain range rising slowly from the earth, its slopes worn smooth by time, wind, and snowfall. The air here is cool and thin, carrying the faint scent of stone and pine. Clouds drift lazily across the peaks, and shadows stretch long across the valleys as the sun begins its quiet descent. In places like this, where the land feels old and patient, there exists a presence that predates roads, villages, and even memory itself. This presence is the troll.
Trolls are not creatures of haste or chaos. They belong to stone, to mountain, to the slow movement of the earth itself. To imagine a troll is to imagine solidity and weight. Picture a massive form, broad-shouldered and thick-limbed, its body shaped as though carved directly from rock. Its skin resembles weathered stone, cracked, uneven, and textured, colored in muted grays, browns, and mossy greens. In some places, patches of lichen cling to its surface, and thin lines of dirt fill the creases of its skin, as if the mountain has claimed it as one of its own. The troll's face is heavy and worn, with deep-set eyes that reflect a dim amber light, like sunlight trapped beneath layers of rock. Its nose is broad, its brow thick and shadowed, giving the impression of constant contemplation. When its mouth opens, it does so slowly, revealing teeth that look more like smooth stones than fangs. Nothing about the troll is sharp or sudden. Every feature is rounded by time. Its movements are slow, deliberate, and deeply rhythmic. When a troll walks, the ground seems to respond, not with violence, but with acknowledgement. Each step settles into the earth with a dull, resonant thud, as though stone has met stone. These movements are not meant to intimidate. They are simply the natural result of something so large and ancient shifting its weight. A troll's habitat is the high mountains, deep caves, rocky forests, and isolated valleys where human presence is minimal. These places are quiet, marked by the sound of wind moving through stone corridors, water dripping steadily from cave ceilings, and the distant call of birds echoing across cliffs. Trolls favor areas where the land itself feels undisturbed, places shaped slowly by glaciers, erosion, and time. During the day, trolls are often still. Some folklore says they turn to stone in sunlight,
But in gentler interpretations, they simply rest, blending so completely into the landscape that they become indistinguishable from boulders or cliff faces. At dusk and night, when shadows lengthen and the world cools, they stir. Their movements at this time are minimal, perhaps shifting position, rising from a resting place, or walking a familiar path along a mountainside.
Their habits are repetitive and predictable. A troll may return to the same cave night after night, rest in the same hollow, or sit beside the same stream as it has for centuries. This repetition is comforting rather than dull, reinforcing the sense that the world continues in steady cycles. Trolls are creatures of routine, bound to their territory not by ownership, but by belonging.
The sounds surrounding a troll are soft and grounding. You might hear the scrape of stone against stone as it moves, the gentle crunch of gravel beneath its feet, or the low, steady sound of its breathing, deep and slow, like wind moving through a cavern. Occasionally, a troll might emit a low hum or grunt, not in anger, but as a kind of unconscious expression, resonating softly through the surrounding rock.
Smells in the troll's world are earthy and grounding. Damp stone, cold water, moss, and mineral-rich soil. There is a freshness to the air, especially at higher elevations, where snow lingers and the world feels clean and quiet. Breathing here feels slower, deeper, as though the air itself encourages rest.
There is a quiet story often told in Nordic regions about a lone shepherd who took shelter from a storm in a mountain cave. As thunder rolled and rain fell, he noticed the cave seemed to breathe. Slowly, a massive shape shifted in the darkness, a troll resting for the night. Frozen with fear at first, the shepherd soon realized the creature paid him no mind. The troll simply sat, unmoving, listening to the storm. Hours passed in silence. When morning came, the troll had returned to stillness, blending once more into stone. The shepherd left unharmed, carrying with him a deep respect for the mountain and its ancient guardian. This story captures the troll's nature, not cruel, not kind, but enduring. Trolls do not seek conflict. They exist alongside the land, indifferent to human concerns unless disturbed. Their power lies not in aggression, but in permanence. As you imagine the troll now, picture it seated on a rocky ledge beneath a starlit sky. Its massive form is silhouetted against the stars, motionless, as though it has always been there. Snow drifts gently onto its shoulders, melting slowly against its warm stone skin. The troll does not react. It simply exists, patient and unmoved. Notice the texture of the stone beneath it, the way shadows pool in the crevices of its form. The night is quiet, broken only by wind and distant water. Time feels different here, slower, stretched, unhurried. Culturally, trolls represent the untamed forces of nature, the land before human influence. They remind listeners of humility, of the smallness of individual worries compared to the vastness of time.
In sleep narration, they serve as anchors, solid, grounding presences that draw attention away from racing thoughts and into stillness.
Imagine sitting nearby, safely distant, feeling the cool stone beneath you. The troll's presence is not threatening. Instead, it is reassuring in its certainty. Nothing rushes, nothing demands attention. The world simply continues, slow and steady.
As the night deepens, the troll shifts slightly, settling more comfortably into its resting place. Its breathing remains slow and even. Eventually, it becomes still again, indistinguishable from the rock around it.
Allow this stillness to settle into your own body. Let your thoughts become heavy and calm, like stones resting on the earth. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go. The mountain endures, the troll rests, and you are free to drift gently into sleep.
The Kraken, the sleeper beneath the sea.
Imagine the open ocean at night. The surface stretches endlessly in every direction, dark and glassy, reflecting only faint starlight and the pale glow of the moon. The air is cool and still, carrying the soft scent of salt and distant waves. Beneath this calm surface lies a vast, quiet world, one that moves slowly, deliberately, and without urgency. In the deepest reaches of this world rests a creature older than maps and stories, a being spoken of in whispers by sailors and scholars alike. This being is known as the Kraken.
The Kraken is not a creature of constant motion. It is a sleeper, a presence that rests far below the waves, where sunlight fades and time stretches long. To imagine the Kraken is to imagine enormity without aggression, size without haste. Its body is immense, wider than ships, broader than imagination, yet its movements, when they occur, are slow, fluid, and almost gentle.
Picture its form resting on the ocean floor. Its skin is smooth in some places, ridged in others, marked by subtle patterns like currents frozen into flesh. The colors are deep and muted, dark blues, shadowy purples, pulsing slowly like distant stars, offering just enough light to reveal its vast outline without fully exposing it.
Its tentacles, long, thick, and powerful, are not thrashing or grasping. They are relaxed, gently coiled along the seabed, drifting slightly with the movement of deep currents. Each one moves almost imperceptibly, rising and falling as if breathing alongside the ocean itself. The suckers along these limbs are smooth and worn, more like polished stone than something sharp or threatening. The Kraken's eyes are large and ancient, positioned to observe rather than hunt. When open, they reflect the faint bioluminescent glow around them, deep and calm, holding no urgency or hunger. More often than not, these eyes are closed, the creature resting in a state of deep stillness that can last decades, even centuries. The habitat of the kraken is the deep ocean, trenches and valleys far beyond human reach. Here, pressure is immense, sound travels slowly, and movement is minimal. The water is cold and steady, layered with currents that move like slow rivers within the sea. In this environment, the kraken exists as part of the landscape itself, as permanent as the ocean floor.
The sounds around the kraken are distant and muffled. You might imagine the low hum of shifting currents, the faint echo of whale song far above, or the subtle crackle of deep-sea life. These sounds blend together into a steady, soothing background, an underwater hush that encourages stillness and rest. The kraken's habits follow long, unchanging cycles. It sleeps for years at a time, waking only when currents shift or when it senses disturbances far above. Even then, its response is measured. It may extend a tentacle slowly upward, sensing vibrations, then retreat again into rest. Rarely does it rise toward the surface, and when it does, it moves with such deliberate grace that the ocean itself seems to part respectfully around it.
There's an old maritime story told quietly among sailors, passed from one generation to the next. A ship once found itself becalmed in the open sea, sails limp, water perfectly still. The crew noticed the water beneath them glowing faintly, pulsing with soft blue light. Slowly, the sea began to rise, not in waves, but in a gentle swell. They realized they were floating above the kraken, resting just below the surface. The creature did not stir. It breathed. The sea rose and fell with that breath. After some time, the currents returned, the glow faded, and the ship drifted safely away. The sailors spoke not of terror, but of awe, having witnessed the ocean itself sleeping. This story reflects the kraken's true nature, not a destroyer, but a reminder of the ocean's depth and patience. It does not seek ships or storms. It simply exists, immense and calm, indifferent to surface concerns.
As you imagine the kraken now, picture yourself drifting gently underwater, protected and weightless. The light is dim but soothing, and the water moves slowly around you. Ahead, you see the faint glow of bioluminescent effect. Notice the way the water moves around its body, the subtle currents tracing its shape. Observe how small fish and deep-sea creatures pass nearby, unbothered, moving in slow arcs. The kraken does not react. It allows life to flow around it, unintrusive and calm.
Culturally, the kraken represents the unknown depths, not as something to fear, but as something vast and enduring. It reminds us that not all power is active, that rest itself can be immense. In sleep-focused storytelling, the kraken becomes a symbol of deep rest, of sinking gently beneath surface worries into a quieter, darker calm. Imagine the kraken shifting slightly, adjusting one massive tentacle, then settling again. Its breathing remains slow and steady. The bioluminescent patterns dim and brighten rhythmically like a heartbeat. Time feels suspended here, stretched thin and unimportant.
As the ocean currents continue their endless journey, the kraken drifts back into deeper sleep.
The glow fades to a soft shimmer. Darkness returns, not as emptiness, but as comfort. Allow your own thoughts to follow this descent. Let them sink slowly, like drifting particles settling gently on the ocean floor. Your breathing becomes deeper, slower, matching the steady rhythm of the sea. The kraken rests, the ocean is calm, and you too are free to rest, carried gently into sleep by the vast, quiet depths.
Drog, the watcher of the silent shore.
Imagine a cold northern coastline just before dawn. The sea is calm, its surface a smooth expanse of dark gray blue, broken only by the gentle roll of distant waves. The air is crisp and clean, carrying the scent of salt, wet stone, and seaweed. The sky is low and clouded, and the world feels hushed, as though holding its breath. In places like this, where land and sea meet in quiet balance, there exists a presence shaped not by fear, but by remembrance. This presence is the Draug. The Draug is not a creature of chaos or sudden movement. It is a guardian of memory, bound to the land it once walked and the shores it once knew. In folklore, the Draug is often described as an undead being, but in this gentle telling, it is something softer, an echo of life that lingers quietly, watching over familiar ground. Picture the Draug standing near the water's edge, its form solid yet subdued. Its body appears human in shape, though heavier, denser, as if weighed down by time. The skin is pale and weathered, tinged with soft blues and grays like stone touched by frost. Its clothing, simple, worn garments or armor, hangs loosely, shaped by centuries of wind and salt air. Nothing about the Draug is sharp or sudden. Every detail feels smoothed by age.
Its eyes are open, calm, and reflective, holding the distant look of something that has seen many seasons pass. They do not glow or glare. Instead, they reflect the low light of the sky and sea, like wet stones catching faint illumination. The Drauger's face is still, peaceful, marked with quiet resolve rather than menace. The Drauger's movements are minimal. It does not roam aimlessly or chase. Instead, it stands or walks slowly along familiar paths, near burial mounds, rocky shores, or old homesteads now reclaimed by grass and moss. When it moves, its steps are steady and deliberate, leaving faint impressions in damp sand or soil that fade quickly with the tide. The environment around the Drauger is quiet and expansive. Waves lap softly against the shore. Seabirds call distantly, and wind moves gently across the land. The soundscape is steady and predictable, like a slow breathing rhythm that encourages calm. The Drauger seems attuned to these sounds, moving in harmony with them rather than against them.
At night, the Drauger becomes even more still. It may stand atop a low hill or near an ancient stone marker, gazing out over the water. In these moments, it feels less like a being and more like part of the landscape, a standing stone given subtle awareness.
There is an old Nordic tale of a fisherman who returned late to shore, his boat gliding silently through fog. As he approached land, he noticed a solitary figure standing near a burial mound, watching the sea. The figure did not move or speak. As the fisherman passed, he felt no fear, only a strange sense of comfort, as though someone was keeping watch. The next morning, villagers said the draugr had been seen again, standing in the same place as it had for generations.
This story reflects the draugr's true role, not a monster, but a sentinel. It is bound to places of significance, homes, graves, coastlines, not out of anger, but out of connection. The draugr remembers what once was and ensures that it is not forgotten. The draugr's presence carries a sense of cold, but not discomforting cold. It is the coolness of early morning air, of stone shaded from the sun, of water drawn from a deep well. This coolness is refreshing, grounding, and calming.
Culturally, the draugr represents the idea that places hold memory, that land remembers footsteps, voices, and lives long after they fade. In sleep storytelling, the draugr serves as a reminder that rest and stillness are part of existence, that even after motion ends, presence can remain gentle and watchful. As you imagine the draugr now, picture it standing quietly as the tide comes in. The water moves closer, then retreats, leaving behind smooth sand and scattered shells. The draugr does not react. It simply observes, its awareness stretched across time rather than moments.
The sky slowly brightens, shifting from deep gray to soft silver. The draugr's outline becomes less distinct, blending into the landscape. Eventually, it appears no different from a standing stone or weathered post. Allow this image to settle in your mind. Let the quiet persistence of the draugr guide your thoughts into stillness. There is nothing demanding your attention, nothing unresolved, only the steady rhythm of waves and the calm watch of an ancient guardian.
As the day approaches, the draugr fades fully into rest, its presence lingering not as a form, but as a feeling, a sense of calm continuity. The shore remains, the sea continues its gentle motion, and you too are free to rest, carried softly into sleep by the quiet memory of the land.
Huldra, the gentle forest keeper. Imagine a forest deep in northern Europe, where the trees rise tall and straight, their branches forming soft, overlapping canopies. The air is fragrant with pine, moss, and the damp earth after a quiet rainfall. A gentle mist drifts between the trunks, carrying the scent of wildflowers and distant streams. The forest feels alive yet restful, patient in its quiet rhythms. Somewhere in this serene woodland, there exists a presence both mysterious and calming, the Huldra. The Huldra is not a creature of malice. Though folklore often hints at mischief, in this gentle telling, she is a guardian of the forest, a spirit tied to the land, its streams and its trees. She embodies the quiet rhythm of nature and the subtle beauty of hidden places. To imagine the Huldra is to imagine a presence that blends seamlessly with the forest, enchanting, protective, and profoundly still. Picture her standing beneath the boughs of a birch grove. Her figure is slender and graceful, moving in harmony with the breeze. She appears human at first glance, though there are subtle signs of her otherworldly nature. A tail like that of a cow that flicks slowly behind her. Long hair that flows like liquid gold, mingling with the sunlight filtering through the leaves. Eyes that reflect the forest in all its soft green and brown tones. Her expression is serene, almost meditative, as though she has been present for countless seasons, quietly observing the life of the woods. Her skin carries the soft warmth of sunlit bark, touched with hints of mossy green where the forest seems to embrace her. Clothing, if any, appears woven from natural fibers, bark threads, leaves, and soft moss, blending so naturally that one might wonder if she is a part of the trees themselves. Every movement is deliberate and slow, designed not to disturb, but to harmonize with the environment around her. The Huldra moves softly through the forest. She glides across the undergrowth without bending a branch or crushing a single flower. When she steps near a stream, the water swirls gently around her feet, as if acknowledging her passage. Birds and small creatures continue their routines undisturbed. The forest recognizes her as one of its own. Her habitat spans thick woodlands, forest clearings, and river valleys, places rich with life, yet untouched by human disruption. In the deeper recesses of the forest, where sunlight dapples the ground and the air is filled with the soft chorus of water, insects, and wind through the trees, the Huldra feels most at home. Here she is both guardian and companion, keeping the forest balanced and peaceful. The sounds associated with the Huldra are soothing and melodic. A stream's gentle babble, the soft rustle of leaves, the distant tapping of a woodpecker, and the whisper of wind through pine needles all form a gentle symphony. Her presence amplifies these natural sounds, turning ordinary forest noises into a calm, rhythmic lullaby. There is an old story told in Swedish forests of a young wanderer who lost their way. As twilight fell, they noticed a figure ahead, a young woman standing near a stream, hair shimmering like sunlight on water. Though startled at first, the wanderer felt no fear. The Huldra did not speak harshly or demand anything. She simply gestured toward a faint path leading safely back to the village. Following her guidance, the wanderer emerged from the forest unharmed. Later, they realized the figure had disappeared, leaving only the faint scent of moss and pine behind. The forest itself seemed to sigh in relief. This story reflects the Huldra's true nature in this gentle version. She is not a trickster to fear, but a quiet guide, a spirit who rewards respect and patience. She encourages harmony with the natural world rather than conflict, teaching that attention and calm can lead one safely through even the most shadowed woods. The forest surrounding her carries a subtle sense of rhythm that encourages relaxation. Moss underfoot is soft and springy. Fallen leaves form a natural carpet that muffles any sound. The scent of the earth, mixed with wildflowers and sun-warmed wood, invites deep, steady breathing. All of this combines into an environment perfectly suited for rest and reflection. As you imagine the Huldra now, see her sitting beside a calm forest pond. The water mirrors her form, the trees, and the soft glow of the evening sky. She tilts her head slightly, observing ripples in the water as if reading the currents of the forest. You notice how she moves without haste, raising a hand to touch a leaf, letting it fall back to the ground. Each action is deliberate, soft, and grounding. Her tail sways slowly behind her, a subtle reminder that this forest is a place of magic and quiet mystery. Yet there is no urgency in the scene, no drama, only the steady, soothing presence of a spirit deeply connected to the rhythms of the natural world. The evening deepens, shadows lengthen, merging into gentle darkness. The wind stirs, carrying with it the faint, comforting scent of damp soil. The Huldra remains calm, sitting or standing as the forest moves slowly around her. Creatures scurry and call, leaves rustle, all in harmony with her quiet watch. Allow this gentle scene to settle into your mind. Imagine breathing alongside the Huldra, slow, steady, and patient. Each breath draws in the calm energy of the forest. Each exhale releases tension and thought. Time feels slowed, stretched, peaceful. As the forest darkens, the Huldra slowly disappears from view, not vanished abruptly, but blending entirely with the shadows, leaves, and gentle reflections in the water. Her presence lingers, not as sight, but as the calm of the forest itself. Allow your own awareness to follow this stillness. Let the trees, streams, and soft night air carry you into rest. There is no fear, no rush, only the gentle presence of a timeless forest spirit watching over the woods and over you. The Huldra waits, the forest rests, and you are free to drift peacefully into sleep, embraced by quiet nature and calm guiding magic.
Huldra, the gentle forest keeper. Imagine a forest deep in northern Europe, where the trees rise tall and straight, their branches forming soft, overlapping canopies. The air is fragrant with pine, moss, and the damp earth after a quiet rainfall. A gentle mist drifts between the trunks, carrying the scent of wildflowers and distant streams. The forest feels alive, yet restful, patient in its quiet rhythms. Somewhere in this serene woodland, there exists a presence both mysterious and calming, the Huldra. The Huldra is not a creature of malice, though folklore often hints at mischief. In this gentle telling, she is a guardian of the forest, a spirit tied to the land, its streams, and its trees. She embodies the quiet rhythm of nature and the subtle beauty of hidden places. To imagine the Huldra is to imagine a presence that blends seamlessly with the forest, enchanting, protective, and profoundly still. Picture her standing beneath the boughs of a birch grove. Her figure is slender and graceful, moving in harmony with the breeze. She appears human at first glance, though there are subtle signs of her otherworldly nature. A tail, like that of a cow, that flicks slowly behind her. Long hair that flows like liquid gold, mingling with the sunlight filtering through the leaves. Eyes that reflect the forest in all its soft green and brown tones. Her expression is serene, almost meditative, as though she has been present for countless seasons, quietly observing the life of the woods. Her skin carries the soft warmth of sunlit bark, touched with hints of mossy green where the forest seems to embrace her. Clothing, if any, appears woven from natural fibers, bark threads, leaves, and soft moss, blending so naturally that one might wonder if she is a part of the trees themselves. Every movement is deliberate and slow, designed not to disturb,
but to harmonize with the environment around her. The Huldra moves softly through the forest. She glides across the undergrowth without bending a branch or crushing a single flower. When she steps near a stream, the water swirls gently around her feet, as if acknowledging her passage. Birds and small creatures continue their routines undisturbed. The forest recognizes her as one of its own. Her habitat spans thick woodlands, forest clearings, and river valleys, places rich with life, yet untouched by human disruption. In the deeper recesses of the forest, where sunlight dapples the ground and the air is filled with the soft chorus of water, insects, and wind through the trees, the Huldra feels most at home. Here, she is both guardian and companion, keeping the forest balanced and peaceful. The sounds associated with the Huldra are soothing and melodic. A stream's gentle babble, the soft rustle of leaves, the distant tapping of a woodpecker, and the whisper of wind through pine needles all form a gentle symphony. Her presence amplifies these natural sounds, turning ordinary forest noises into a calm, rhythmic lullaby.
There is an old story told in Swedish forests of a young wanderer who lost their way. As twilight fell, they noticed a figure ahead, a young woman standing near a stream, hair shimmering like sunlight on water. Though startled at first, the wanderer felt no fear. The Huldra did not speak harshly or demand anything. She simply gestured toward a faint path leading safely back to the village. Following her guidance, the wanderer emerged from the forest unharmed. Later, they realized the figure had disappeared, leaving only the faint scent of moss and pine behind. The forest itself seemed to sigh in relief. This story reflects the Huldra's true nature in this gentle version. She is not a trickster to fear, but a quiet guide, a spirit who rewards respect and patience. She encourages harmony with the natural world rather than conflict, teaching that attention and calm can lead one safely through even the most shadowed woods. The forest surrounding her carries a subtle sense of rhythm that encourages relaxation. Moss underfoot is soft and springy. Fallen leaves form a natural carpet that muffles any sound. The scent of the earth, mixed with wildflowers and sun-warmed wood, invites deep, steady breathing. All of this combines into an environment perfectly suited for rest and reflection. As you imagine the Huldra now, see her sitting beside a calm forest pond. The water mirrors her form, the trees, and the soft glow of the evening sky. She tilts her head slightly, observing ripples in the water as if reading the currents of the forest. You notice how she moves without haste, raising a hand to touch a leaf, letting it fall back gently to the ground. Each action is deliberate, soft, and grounding. Her tail sways slowly behind her, a subtle reminder that this forest is a place of magic and quiet mystery. Yet there is no urgency in the scene, no drama, only the steady, soothing presence of a spirit deeply connected to the rhythms of the natural world. The evening deepens, shadows lengthen, merging into gentle darkness. The wind stirs, carrying with it the faint, comforting scent of damp soil. The Huldra remains calm, sitting or standing as the forest moves slowly around her. Creatures scurry and call, water flows and leaves rustle, all in harmony with her quiet watch. Allow this gentle scene to settle into your mind.
Imagine breathing alongside the Huldra, slow, steady, and patient. Each breath draws in the calm energy of the forest. Each exhale releases tension and thought. Time feels slowed, stretched, peaceful. As the forest darkens, the Huldra slowly disappears from view, not vanished abruptly, but blending entirely with the shadows, leaves, and gentle reflections in the water. Her presence lingers, not as sight, but as the calm of the forest itself. Allow your own awareness to follow this stillness. Let the trees, streams, and soft night air carry you into rest. There is no fear, no rush, only the gentle presence of a timeless forest spirit watching over the woods and over you. The Huldra waits, the forest rests, and you are free to drift peacefully into sleep, embraced by quiet nature and calm, guiding magic.
Bannock, the guardian of the sauna. Imagine a small wooden sauna tucked at the edge of a northern forest. Smoke drifts lazily from the chimney, curling upward and mingling with the evening air. The scent of pine and cedar fills the surrounding woods, carried softly by a gentle breeze. The air near the sauna is crisp, yet inside it is warm, heavy with soft steam, and imbued with the quiet rhythm of heat and time. In this serene, intimate place dwells a being both protective and gentle, the Bannock. The Bannock is a sauna spirit, a presence tied to the heat, the steam, and the calming rituals of cleansing. Unlike more frightening spirits in folklore, this Bannock is patient, observant, and protective, concerned with respect, mindfulness, and the gentle flow of energy. To imagine the Bannock is to imagine warmth made living, a guardian who ensures that the sauna is safe, balanced, and serene. Picture the Bannock standing quietly in a corner of the sauna. Its form is humanoid, but soft and hazy, made partially of warm steam and the gentle glow of ember light. Its features are indistinct, like reflections in water, yet you sense eyes that observe kindly, aware of every motion, every sigh, every small sound. Its presence is calming, almost imperceptible, blending seamlessly with the warmth of the room. The Bannock does not move quickly. It drifts with the steam, rising gently from the floorboards and curling around benches and walls. Its movements are deliberate and slow, designed not to disturb, but to harmonize with the rhythm of heat and breath. Steam curls around it like a veil, creating soft patterns that shift and dissolve almost imperceptibly. The environment of the sauna is quiet, intimate, and deeply soothing. Heat radiates from wooden walls, warmed by stones at the hearth. Water hisses gently as it is poured over glowing rocks, creating soft puffs of steam. The scent of pine, cedar, and resin mingles with the warmth, forming a cocoon of comfort. Outside, the northern forest whispers softly, but inside, time slows and the world outside the sauna seems distant. The Bannock's role is protective. It ensures that the sauna is used respectfully, that water is poured gently on the stones, that the heat is balanced and steady. In folklore, those who offended the Bannock might have found the sauna uncomfortable, but in this gentle telling, it is a reminder of mindfulness, to slow down, to breathe, to respect the quiet sanctuaries of life.
There is a soft story often told by sauna goers.
A weary traveler entered a small forest sauna at dusk. The room was warm and inviting, but the traveler felt an unseen presence watching calmly. At first, they tensed, but then, noticing the soft, rhythmic rise of the steam and the gentle glow of embers, they relaxed. The presence of the bannock seemed to guide their breathing, slow their movements, and encourage mindful warmth. By the time the traveler left, they felt lighter, calmer, and deeply at peace, as if the sauna itself had exhaled its quiet energy through the bannock. The bannock's habits are tied to human ritual. It is most active when the sauna is in use, blending heat, steam, and quiet observation. When the sauna is empty, it retreats into the steam and warmth of the hearth, resting until it is needed again. Its presence is felt, not seen. A slight movement of steam, a soft ripple of warmth along the floorboards, a sense of steady guardianship. The sounds of a bannock's environment are slow and melodic in their own way. The hiss of water on hot stones forms a gentle, repeating rhythm. Steam drifts upward with a soft sigh, like air leaving a tired body. Outside, trees creak gently in the wind, echoing faintly through the sauna's walls. These sounds blend into a slow, meditative cadence, encouraging deep breathing and relaxation.
As you imagine the bannock now, picture it drifting softly near the hearth, the warm glow of embers illuminating its vaporous form. Its eyes, if you can perceive them, hold kindness and quiet understanding. You feel no threat, only the steady reassurance of a patient guardian ensuring that the space remains calm, warm, and safe. Notice how your own body responds. You feel the warmth of the sauna in your skin, the steady rhythm of your breath matching the gentle hiss of steam, the soft heat flowing through muscles and bones. Thoughts begin to drift slowly, like water poured over glowing stones, dissolving gently in the warmth. The evening deepens, and the bannock continues its quiet watch. Steam rises, walls glow softly, and the forest outside darkens under a canopy of stars. The bannock remains calm, a gentle spirit moving in harmony with heat and breath, silently guiding the room toward perfect stillness.
Allow this image and warmth to settle around you. Let your muscles relax, your mind soften, and your thoughts drift gently. There is no hurry, no requirement to move, only the steady, soothing presence of the bannock, the sauna, and the quiet rhythms of ritual and warmth. Eventually, the bannock retreats into the hearth, blending completely with steam and shadows, leaving the sauna as still, quiet, and comforting as it was before. The forest outside continues its gentle whispers, and you are free to drift peacefully into sleep, embraced by warmth, quiet guardianship, and the slow rhythm of mindful rest. Fossagrim, the stream's gentle musician. Imagine a quiet forest where a clear, cold stream winds slowly through mossy banks. The trees stretch high above, their leaves forming a soft, dappled canopy. Sunlight filters through in gentle, golden beams, touching the water in tiny, shimmering patterns. The air carries the delicate scents of pine, wet earth, and the faint sweetness of wildflowers. Somewhere in this serene woodland lives a being of music and water, the Fossagrim. The Fossagrim is a water spirit known for his skill with the fiddle. Unlike stories of trickery or fear, this Fossagrim is gentle, patient, and deeply attuned to the rhythms of the forest and stream. He embodies calm, flowing energy, like water moving over smooth stones, and the quiet joy of music shared with the world.
Picture him sitting beside the stream on a mossy rock, his form blending with the shadows and the sunlight. He is human-like in shape, with long, wet hair that reflects the shimmer of the water, cascading down his shoulders and back. His eyes hold the same calm clarity as the stream itself, soft, reflective, and endlessly patient. His clothing is simple, made of soft, earth-toned fabrics that move with him like the gentle currents around the water's edge. His fiddle rests lightly against his knee, strings catching the light like tiny threads of silver. When he plays, the notes flow slowly, rising and falling with the rhythm of the stream. The music is soft, melodic, and mesmerizing, carrying the sound of water, wind, and the quiet rustle of leaves into every corner of the forest. The Fossagrim moves minimally, each gesture, drawing the bow across the strings, adjusting the instrument, is deliberate and graceful. His music blends naturally with the surrounding sounds, the trickle of the stream, the gentle tapping of water droplets from leaves, the distant calls of birds and insects. There is no urgency, no sharpness, only the continuous, soothing pulse of nature and song together.
The habitat of the Fossagrim is the deep forest, near streams, waterfalls, and quiet ponds. He favors secluded spots where the water runs clear and cold, reflecting the trees and sky above. Here, he listens to the world, drawing inspiration from ripples, stones, and the patterns of flowing water. One gentle story tells of a young villager who wandered into the forest at dusk, carrying worry and weariness in their heart. They stumbled upon a hidden stream where a figure sat on a mossy rock, playing a slow, hypnotic tune on a fiddle. The sound was unlike anything they had ever heard, soft, layered, and flowing like the water itself. The villager sat down quietly on the bank, letting the melody wash over them, their tense thoughts dissolving with each note. By the time the music ended, the Fossagrim had vanished into the shadows, leaving only the stream's gentle murmur and a profound sense of peace.
This story reflects the Fossagrim's gentle, supportive nature. He is not a trickster or a threat. He is a guide through calm, an embodiment of patience and stillness. His music encourages relaxation, reflection, and gentle surrender to the flow of life, perfect for sleep and quiet contemplation. The sounds surrounding him are soft, repetitive, and rhythmic. Water trickles over rocks in smooth arcs. Leaves brush against one another in slow movements. Birds call quietly in the distance. And through it all, the Fossagrim's bow moves across the fiddle, creating a seamless tapestry of melody and nature. Imagine sitting on a soft patch of moss near the stream. The Fossagrim's music carries lightly in the air, notes rising and falling like water over stones. The cool forest air brushes your skin. Your breathing slows, matching the gentle pulse of the stream and the rhythm of the fiddle. Thoughts drift by without insistence, as effortless as leaves floating on the water.
As the sun sets, the forest grows dim, and the light reflects on the water in soft, fading golds and blues. The fossagrim continues to play, now joined by the subtle whispers of evening, the faint rustle of nocturnal creatures, the gentle sway of branches in the wind, the soft burble of water settling into its nightly calm. Each sound becomes a note in the larger song of the forest. Eventually, the fossagrim lowers his fiddle and allows silence to return. The stream continues to flow, the trees continue to breathe, and the forest remains in quiet balance. His presence lingers, not as a figure, but as a feeling, the calm, slow rhythm of nature, and the gentle joy of music that heals without words. Allow this stillness to settle around you. Let the soft, flowing music of the stream, the subtle energy of the fossagrim, and the serene forest absorb your thoughts. There is no hurry, no task, no distraction, only the gentle rhythm of nature, melody, and the quiet heart of the forest. The fossagrim rests, the stream continues its timeless journey, and you are free to drift peacefully into sleep, carried by water, music, and the slow, soothing presence of a gentle forest spirit.
Mare, the gentle weaver of dreams.
Mar, the gentle weaver of dreams. Imagine lying in a quiet Scandinavian meadow at night. The air is soft and cool, carrying the scent of wildflowers, damp grass, and the faint whisper of pine from nearby forests. Above, the stars twinkle steadily, casting faint silvery light across the land. The world feels hushed, suspended between wakefulness and sleep, a gentle space where the imagination can drift freely. In this liminal place moves a presence known in folklore as the Mar. Though traditional tales describe the Mar as a spirit associated with nightmares, in this gentle telling, she is a dream weaver, guiding the mind softly through the landscapes of night, helping it release tension, worry, and restless thoughts. She does not frighten, but moves with the calm flow of imagination, nudging the mind toward relaxation and peace.
Picture the mare as a subtle, shifting form hovering lightly above the ground. Her figure is partially translucent, woven of soft mist and silver starlight. Long, flowing hair drifts around her like clouds, glimmering with tiny flecks of moonlight. Her eyes are calm and reflective, holding a quiet understanding of the human mind and the patterns of thought. She smiles gently, not to startle, but to reassure and soothe. The mare's movements are slow, deliberate, and fluid, as if she is floating on air currents shaped by dreams themselves. She drifts over meadows, along forest edges, and across rippling streams, her presence almost imperceptible except for the soft shimmer she leaves in her wake. Flowers bend slightly as she passes, dew glimmers on leaves, and the faint hum of night insects blends into the calm rhythm of her passage. Her habitat is wherever minds enter rest: quiet bedrooms, shaded meadows, tranquil forests, and still lakes. She thrives in places of transition between wakefulness and sleep, and moves where thoughts are ready to drift and release. Her magic is subtle. She guides rather than commands,
and invites the mind to let go. The sounds surrounding the mare are soft, gentle, and rhythmic. Leaves rustle in a warm night breeze. Streams move slowly over stones, murmuring quietly. The hum of insects, the distant call of an owl, and the soft exhalation of wind combine into a lullaby of natural sound. The mare's presence merges seamlessly with these gentle rhythms, each sound a note in her quiet symphony of rest.
There is a soft story told in Scandinavian villages. A child, restless and worried, could not fall asleep. That night, a gentle shimmer appeared above their bed, a faint figure floating lightly, glowing softly like moonlight on water. The child felt no fear, only calm curiosity. As they watched, their minds' anxious thoughts began to loosen, drifting away like clouds over hills. The figure remained until the child's breathing slowed, until eyelids drooped, until sleep embraced them fully. By morning, the child awoke refreshed, with the faint sense of a protective presence lingering in their dreams. This story reflects the mare's role in this gentle retelling, not as a creature to fear, but as a guide for peaceful rest. She represents the mind's natural ability to drift, to let go of tension, and to enter the soft, restorative landscapes of sleep.
The mare's appearance can shift depending on the dreamer's imagination. Sometimes she appears as a misty silhouette, sometimes as a soft flicker of moonlight across a room, sometimes as the gentle sway of flowers in the night breeze. Her form is flexible, adapting to the rhythms and needs of the mind she visits. As you imagine the mare now, picture her gliding over the meadow, faintly luminous, her hair flowing like clouded silver. She moves slowly, deliberately, and the world seems to bend gently around her motion. The tall grasses sway, the stream murmurs, and fireflies drift lazily through the air, their soft glow dancing in time with her presence. Notice how your own thoughts begin to follow this rhythm. Each breath slows naturally. Each exhale carries away tension. The mind drifts effortlessly, unburdened, open to gentle images and sensations. You feel the mare's calm presence enveloping you, softening the edges of wakefulness and inviting a natural, deep rest. The night deepens. Stars brighten faintly overhead. The mare continues her slow passage through the landscape, touching nothing abruptly, moving everything gently toward calm. Her soft light reflects on streams, rocks, and leaves, creating a serene mosaic of quiet energy. Allow yourself to drift alongside her, following the natural flow of dreams. There is no urgency, no conflict, only soft motion, quiet guidance, and the gentle, protective embrace of night. Eventually, the mare fades into the shadows of the meadow, leaving only the calm of the night behind. Streams continue their murmurs, the wind continues its soft path, and you are free to drift peacefully into sleep, guided by the gentle hand of a kind, watchful dream weaver.
Nook, Necken, the serene water musician.
Imagine a quiet Scandinavian river at night, flowing slowly through a forest of ancient pines and birches. The water glimmers softly under a pale moon, reflecting the faint twinkle of distant stars. Mist rises lightly from the river's surface, curling around rocks and reeds. The air is cool and fragrant, carrying the subtle scent of water, moss, and wet earth. In this serene landscape dwells a being both musical and mysterious, the Nook, also known as Necken. Though folklore often paints the Nook as dangerous, in this gentle retelling, he is a quiet guardian and musician, a spirit who enchants the forest with soft, flowing melodies that calm both mind and spirit. His music is his presence, and his presence is a bridge between nature and dream, perfectly suited for quiet reflection and sleep. Picture the Nook sitting on a smooth, moss-covered rock by the riverbank. His form is humanoid, yet subtly ethereal, blending with the shadows and moonlight. His hair is long, dark, and wet, falling across his shoulders and shimmering with reflected starlight. His eyes are deep and calm, reflecting the flowing river and the surrounding forest. There is no harshness in his gaze, only patience, quiet awareness, and soft invitation.
The Nock holds a fiddle, its wood smooth and gleaming faintly in the moonlight. When he plays, the notes rise and fall like ripples across the water, flowing seamlessly with the gentle current. The sound is soft, intricate, and mesmerizing, blending with the murmurs of the river, the whisper of the wind through leaves, and the distant calls of night birds. Each note seems to encourage a slower heartbeat, a deeper exhale, a sense of drifting weightlessly through time. His movements are deliberate and fluid. Each bow stroke is slow, precise, and rhythmic, drawing melodies from the strings that echo softly across the water. Occasionally, he adjusts his fingers gently on the strings, producing subtle variations that ripple like small waves. There is no hurry, no tension, only the steady, immersive flow of music and nature together. The Nock's habitat is always near flowing water, rivers, streams, or quiet ponds surrounded by forest. He prefers secluded spots where the water moves slowly and reflects the sky. These areas are places of reflection, calm, and meditation, perfectly suited for the soothing rituals of the night.
One soft story tells of a traveler who, after a long day of wandering through northern forests, rested beside a river. As darkness fell, they heard faint music drifting through the trees, a soft, hypnotic melody rising and falling with the water. Curious but unafraid, the traveler listened quietly. The Nook's tune seemed to weave through the air, echoing the patterns of the river, slowing the traveler's breathing and softening every thought. When the song ended, the river flowed just as before, but the traveler's mind was at peace, ready to rest and sleep. This story illustrates the Nook's gentle nature in this version. He is not a trickster or threat, but a guide to calm, a spirit who helps humans release tension and sink into deep rest. His music mirrors the flow of nature, continuous, rhythmic, and meditative. The sounds around him are subtle yet immersive. The river's gentle rush, water sliding over stones, the soft rustle of leaves, and occasional nocturnal bird calls blend seamlessly with the faint strains of the fiddle. Each element contributes to a hypnotic, restful symphony, allowing the listener to slow their mind and drift into the comforting embrace of night. As you imagine the Nook now, see him seated on his mossy rock, bowing the strings of his fiddle slowly. The water flows smoothly around him, reflecting moonlight and forest shadows.
Mist rises gently, wrapping the river and surrounding trees in a soft, silvery veil. The music blends perfectly with the night, moving in a continuous, soothing rhythm. Notice how your own breath begins to mirror the ebb and flow of the river. Each inhale draws calm energy from the cool night air. Each exhale releases tension and thought. Your mind drifts as naturally as leaves floating downstream, guided by the Nuk's soft, hypnotic melody.
The night deepens, the stars glow faintly, and the forest seems to hum with gentle life. The Nuk continues to play, yet the notes are so soft and harmonious that they feel like a natural part of the river itself. Over time, his music blends entirely with the ambient sounds of water, wind, and distant nocturnal movement. Eventually, the Nuk lowers his fiddle, allowing the river to carry the final echoes of music into the night. His presence lingers in the calm, flowing energy of the water, in the gentle movement of mist, in the quiet of the forest. You feel this lingering calm settle within you, allowing your mind and body to drift fully into deep, restorative sleep. The Nuk rests, the river flows, the forest listens, and you are free to drift peacefully into dreams, carried by water, melody, and the slow, soothing rhythm of nature itself.
Thank you for listening to this story with Sleeplore Studios. We hope it brought you calm and peaceful thoughts. Be sure to subscribe for more folklore tales from other regions to help you relax and drift to sleep.